All right, so we're gonna start a match review segment for tonight. We have a couple games, so it won't take as long to get through them. This first match comes to us from Purple Manta, who has 850 hours in the game, quickly approaching that 1K hour zone where I usually expect most people to be pretty adept at all of the basic fundamentals in Dead by Daylight, kind of a general idea what's going on. So they're almost there. So you should know most general things in DBD, but there may be some things that are falling through the cracks. You are playing Legion, which is a very middle of the pack killer. A lot of your success rate is kind of based on like if the survivors group up, which is something that they shouldn't be doing anyway. So like that's why Legion is kind of inconsistent as a character, like period. Guarding Storehouse is not a particularly a very killer-sided map. The variation of it is a little bit more killer-sided because there's a lot more dead zones, but it still generally doesn't err in your favor. So let's take a look at your add-ons, please. Okay, your build and your add-ons. These add-ons are fine. Mischief List and Bracelet. They are 2 browns though, so they are not the strongest. Not the strongest. These are good add-ons. They are great add-ons. I'm not saying that. Some Legion main is already typing down in the chat like, hey, those are good add-ons. Like, I know. They are browns. You can probably get more value. Not more value, but you can also get like really good value out of stuff like Mural Sketch. You can do Eerie Pin shenanigans. You could do a lot. I have recommended. So here's a weird thing. So I've watched plenty of Legion mains because I have a lot of Legion main fans that come into my chat. They're like, Legion is my favorite, and they tell me the stuff they run. Usually, when there's like a Legion main streamer that like mains the character, they're like Mural Sketch, Never Sleep Pills, Friendship Bracelet, Mischief List. Those are kind of the stuff that they run. But they'll also say stuff like Eerie Pin's fun, but they'll also say like the Broken Pin, the green add-on is also fun. But like for some reason, last time the last time that I recommended the Broken Pin, there was a lot of like pushback on that in the comments. There are people saying that like, you know, green pin's not that good, broken pin's not that good. So if there's something I'm missing out on, I don't know. I listen a lot to the Legion mains when they talk. A lot of them being big streamers and such. So if they say it's good, that's why I said that. Not like I'm just like throwing out stuff here. If you know better than I do, and for some reason or another, like there's another like Legion main streamer out there that's like has a contrarian opinion, do let me know. Do let me know, and I will look into that essentially, right? Your build is really strong. Usually I don't accept, not accept. Usually I'm kind of against doing match reviews where there's 3 slowdown because I feel like it's kind of like a training wheel sort of thing. It's like you need to get good at like the actual chase and macro game part of Dead by Daylight. And if you're just running triple slowdowns, triple or quad slowdown, it starts like erasing your mistakes. It starts allowing you to make mistakes that you should be like suffering for. Because like if you're making big mistakes, you should be suffering for them. You should be going, okay, well, the match didn't go well, and analyzing why things went wrong. If you're running just triple quad slowdown, you're erasing some of your mistakes. You're allowing yourself more room to make mistakes. So yeah. So you have Thana, which is kind of like the quintessential Legion perk. You almost always see this perk on Legion, and Plague, because they're kind of the 2 characters who can actually get value out of it, because until you get 4 people injured, the perk kind of doesn't really activate. It is on, but it isn't really doing much. Gift of Pain obviously is a way to apply essentially sloppy to everybody, but also has that component where the first heal up regresses your or not regresses, but makes your gen progression slower, which obviously stacks with Penamendo if they break totems, which you're forcing them to break totems with Plaything. So this is a pretty nasty build. If things go wrong, it's not because of your build. So I was taking Ender. Okay, so you kind of Okay. What I was gonna say, is when you spawn like this, like in the middle of the map. Let me get back here. So you spawn like this. You're not actually truly in the middle. We're gonna talk about the upside down triangle strat. When you spawn, you should be looking out ahead of you in Dead by Daylight, and there's an upside down triangle that you should be checking and searching first, out in front of you. So from about where your power gauge is, where your power prompt is, not your power gauge, your power prompt here, forward to your left, straight across, and then back down, there's this big triangle of spaces that you can check. Somewhere in there, it's very, very likely that someone has spawned in there. Just the way DBD spawns work, is very, very likely somebody has spawned in there. So check inside that upside down triangle initially, before you do anything else, because you kind of like turn around and like kind of like walk at a corner of the map, and like check the corners randomly, but you should be checking in that zone. Hey Z, it's good to see you. I had a spirit request today and you weren't around. It was weird. It was very, very odd. Okay, you are starting to see people. You saw crows go up. I don't know why you're checking the random crates and stuff. Okay, so survivors, unless you're like very low hours, survivors, and you're not at 850 plus hours, is survivors are always like pathing towards something, right? Like if they hear the terrorist, they're probably pathing towards a pallet or a window. Survivors that are on like the edge of a terrace or not in the terrace are probably pathing towards a gen. So you got to keep in mind, like, because you're like looking around here, like checking random boxes and stuff for like, you know, immersed gamers, but for the most part, survivors are pathing with purpose towards something that will help them. So use that to cut down on time for searching for people. Think about where they're probably wanting to go instead of like guessing randomly and just assuming they're doing the, you got window tech. That sucks. Survivors will do that a lot too, on Legion in particular, so you need to be prepared for that. Because they know you don't see scratch marks, so they're gonna take even more advantage of that to try and window tech you. There you go. That's why friendship bracelet's good. You wouldn't have got that hit without it. Smart to, if you don't see killer instinct, to just exit your power. Just go for the down. Good job. Good job. You can make that skirt trick on your left. Yeah. You should go for it. Unless you keep getting stuck. You would have made that. You would have made that. You would have made that. You have 10 grunts. 10 survivor grunts on your shoulder until you drop them. You were not close to that. You would have made your skirt trick there. You would have made your skirt trick. So now you're missing out on one of your perks. Fairly early. Just not good. You definitely would have made that. Don't do it. Thank you. I was like, don't kick that, please. Don't dry kick. I think they're in that locker. Yep. Wow. The fact that you hit that is wild. The fact that you hit that is wild. That is funny. That is... Oh. I would not have guessed that that would have hit. I would have thought it would have been a whiff. Wow, you get that? Your power gauge was empty. That's crazy. Yeah, don't let her save here. Yeah, I guess your game plan there was to go for, like, get that lead off hook, hit her with frenzy, and then go try to find the fourth person, which isn't a bad plan. You had 2 injured survivors right there that were just like dead to rights. Just like easy peasy, easy down. And with a scourge hook over on your left, like that would have been just free slowdown for you. So I think I would have taken the down there instead of like trying to like chain hits there. You have a lot of early pressure. I'm kind of like, ooh. If you noticed, you actually were able to move there. If you are able to move after the pickup against a flashbang, that means that they timed it wrong. So what you didn't do is you didn't look up. And I've said this before in a lot of other match reviews, because this is, I don't know, it's interesting. And I don't mean this is any sort of like, diss against you, but it's interesting that people can get almost 1K hours in the game and still not know to look up. We've had people with 1K hours, 2K hours, 3K hours that still don't know to look up against flashlights, against flashbangs. They don't know to do it. And that's exactly why that worked, because you notice you were actually able to move there at the end. A good flashbang, perfect, and actually like well landed flashbang that's legit. It hits the moment that like the moment that your camera locks. But you were able to move here, which means if you had looked up here, that save doesn't happen. That save does not happen. So there you go. Don't kick it. Okay. Why do people play the end in hover? She's so loud. Maybe the hydrate Nord. Well, you're gonna get some sentimental value here later. Going there. That's good. Ooh, she falls for that. You should be able to get her here. She should only be able to medium vault. Okay, she's just gonna go for the pal and get hit. Yeah. That's why that move when it works is so good. Is because they either have to medium vault and get hit, or waste shack pallet and pray they don't get hit. Which is mostly not a ping. But yeah, it's why rotating them that way at shack is really good. Dude, that's a fine dry kick, because, you know, it at least appears nobody else is around. That makes sense to me. That's not actually weird. Okay, get that going. Good. Wow. Hey, Orb, how's it going? How are you, friend? Trying to mind game this a little bit. Okay, this is like one of the only pallets on this side, so it's kind of, yeah, it's good that you just kicked that. Because now that's a big dead zone if they come back here again. You know, that flashbang's like really setting you back. That save. That's interesting. Because like when I flash my save, I'm mostly doing it for fun. I don't really analyze like myself, like how much impact my flashbang has on a match just saving someone. But that, her getting that save and being able to make it to shack and waste so much more of your time, that was that really hurt you. The chase wasn't like incredibly long, it was kind of long, but they didn't look up and got flashbang saved. So yeah, now you're about to make healing even worse. You're gonna, yeah, everybody's healed up too. That was dumb on her part. I don't know why she did that. that was I don't know why she did that. Okay, hopefully you still get this hit. That was a choice. You could have, yeah, you prioritize perk value over a chase. Oh, I wouldn't have done that. I would have went after the Nia. Especially since the first stack of Pentimento is the one that gives you the slowdown to gens. The second one is slowdown to healing, but everybody's healed. Or everybody was healed at the beginning of all that shenanigans. So it's like, it's not like that was like gonna do too much for you. Well, like you see it like Hags, you see the impact of that. Like how much that save has like, you know, saved the match, hee. Because they had to have a whole, they already had like a kind of a long chase. And then after the save, Nia was able to make shack. And then she was able to essentially have 2 chases at the same time. Not at the same time, but one right after the other. Which really, really benefited the Survivor team a lot. You should have hit that. Oh, you should have hit that. You needed to hit that too, because you need everybody injured to be getting that 20% mana. Now you're just kind of panicking and like trying to pressure everybody at the same time. Yeah, you're just kind of panicking and trying to do too much at once. Controller things? That wasn't a controller thing, Orb. If they had just been a little bit more patient and followed her a little bit more, like tailgated her a little bit more before hitting, you were able to move again. You were able to move again. Which means you could have looked up. You call these guys sweaty survivors, bro, you're not even looking up. Step 1 against flashlights, flashbangs, look up. Look up. You're calling them sweaty, but you're not even looking up. Step 1, look up. You could move again. They're missing this timing. They're missing this timing. They're missing the timing. And it's getting you every time. She was trying to blind you mid-chase. Yeah, now you're trying to pressure too much and do too much, and now you're kind of like doing nothing as a result. Because you're panicking because everything's going wrong. You don't see any other... Oh, you did at the last second there, but... I mean... Yeah... You're trying to mind gamer here. That rarely works. That is something that, like, unless you're somebody like Xenomorph, who where like if they run by the window, even if they're not against it, you can M2 out the window and hit them. Like, that is not something you're gonna hit very often. You've probably seen like somebody in like a lower to mid MMR hit that and go, wow, that's super funny, I want to do that. But like that doesn't consistently. Like, the player has to be not paying attention, and B, hugging that super tightly. So, like, that takes a lot of errors on the other side for that hit to be possible. So unless you have already gotten a bead that these are the kind of guys that aren't paying attention, which clearly they are because they're coordinating flashbang saves and that sort of thing, I would not go for that. Juba to your right. You get that because of friendship bracelet. See, that's why friendship bracelet's good. Oh, you could have hit her. Oh, you do hit her. Friendship bracelet is so carrying you. So carrying you. Friendship bracelet value. I hear Tat in my head just singing the praises of friendship bracelet. It's good. It's really good. Okay, you're letting her have the L wall. She's just gonna vault. She double vaults and blocks it immediately, which is not great. And since that pallet's gone, she just dies here. Or gets hit here, sorry. Wrong verbiage. All hits are death. all exposed downs. Yeah, right now you're just kind of like scrambling to get anything going. When yeah, because you're just scrambling now. Because you don't have anything like pop or pain res where like getting a down here would help you regress one of these gens in a big way. All of your gen regression is just like red bar regression. So you can't really stop the gens from progressing, you just are making it go slower. Which is not going to be beneficial to you at this stage of the match. Hey, Rocky Pocky. Good to see you, friend. How's it going? Who's hoping that you go for locker grab? Hopefully that is gone. Okay, so they're starting to get a little greedy. Stay frosty though. Keep paying attention. Okay, you didn't look before picking. Luckily nobody else is around. Chat, help my memory. Have they hooked anybody on a Scourge hook? Like once? Does that happen at all this match? I don't think so. I don't think you've hooked anybody on any of these Scourge hooks besides like maybe one. You like consistently have a hook, like this is like the second or third time that I've seen you do this. You've downed somebody at this side of the map. You've downed somebody at this side of the map over here. Like in this like double long wall. And you have a Scourge hook right. Hold on, my head's in the way. Hold on. Hold on. My head's in the way. My big stupid face. You have a Scourge hook right here. Like right here. You have a Scourge hook right here. And every single time you've downed somebody near this tile, you have never, ever taken somebody over here to the Scourge hook. Why did you even bring the perk if you're not going to get value out of it? It's not like you got really, really bad Scourge hook RNG, so you can't. Like, you've been within reach of that Scourge hook this entire game, and you've not used it once. I don't know why you do that. I don't know if you're just scared you won't make it, but you definitely make that. That's like super close. I don't know why you're ignoring your Scourge hooks. I was trying to like make an excuse for you, but you really are just kind of ignoring your Scourge hook for no reason. And I don't know why. Not really good reason. You can make that. I see your brain working. I see you looking at that Scourge hook and going, that's too far away. And not going for it. So you've essentially played this game with 3 perks. One of them that doesn't really start doing anything until you get all 4 people injured, which you have not been enforcing very much. One of them that is active and can be taken away, and another one that's active that can be taken away. So you're not getting consistent value out of your perks. You're not Scourge hooking. You're not keeping all 4 survivors injured for Thana. It's very rare that you have that option, or you have the situation happening. And these other 2, by the nature of the perks that they aren't up consistently. So all of your perks, either by your play style or by the nature of the perk, are giving you inconsistent value. Which is not good. Why would hook you when Neo was second? At this point, it's just kind of like there's not much that they can do to bring this match back. Just needs at least 1 chase perk. I run Legion without chase perks, and I do fine. I run my M1 killer build. Pain Res, Jolt, Agi, and Surveillance. But I win almost all of my Legion matches. It's a good build. Yeah, because like Gift of Pain makes sense. Because obviously the main way you're applying like injuries is through your M2, so Sloppy is not going to be very helpful for you. So you can have Hook Sloppy and Gift of Pain, which makes sense. Thana obviously is Legion's one of the few characters who can get value out of Thana. And then, you know, Pentamento for extra red bar. And then the plaything to force that to happen. Good job blocking the window. Very, very good. Very, very good. Surveillance on the Spirit. Surveillance is a good perk. You just need to have 2 slowdown to make it work. So it's a very like costly it's a costly perk, if that makes sense. Like you most companion perks in the game only need like 2 to go burr. Like Pop Eruption's a perfect example. Like you don't need to run 3 perks to make Eruption. You just run Pop and then you're fine. I don't know why she vaults back into you there. but like surveillance needing like typically at least 2 slowdown to get a lot of value. That time they got the timing right. Although I will say at this point, this deep in the match, you not looking before you pick is just like, there's no excuse for it. They've been hitting flashbangs on you this entire game and you're still not looking before you pick. You're not even slightly paranoid. Like, that's on you. I kind of find it like, and I'll continue to talk about this in your takeaways. It's like the fact that you name this video Sweaty Survivors when you can't even be bothered to like look up or check before you pick. It's kind of just like, are they sweaty or are you just like not paying attention enough? Whose fault is it really? Yeah. Yeah, I like Surge on Legion because Legion has to down you with what are you waiting for? Don't wait for Dead Hard because they're deep wounded. You do end up pulling this out. That's crazy. Because like you have to down them in your with M1 unless you get a 4 into 5 hit chain. So for the most part, you are going to be downing with an M1. So Surge makes sense. Sorry, didn't mean to bump the mic. Fumbled at the very end, yeah. Well, they're bank savers, so it's like what we do. We're just like for the fun, and we don't really pay attention. Okay. Do I feel faster in Frenzy? I don't know. They haven't buffed Feral Frenzy or anything. Oh, you mean like in general? Yeah, you do move faster in Feral Frenzy unless you're using Never Sleep pills. But like they haven't buffed it to be faster than it already is. That makes sense. All right, so in terms of your main takeaways for this, okay, listen, I'm not upset. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I am not angry. I'm not angry. I'm not upset. But I am going to take a little bit of issue with the fact that you call them Sweaty Survivors. Because most of the things that made this match tremendously difficult for you and made it barely a W were entirely your fault. Entirely your fault. These guys were not playing tremendously well. You literally had survivors like vaulting back into you, like triple vaulting a window and blocking, entity blocking the window like immediately. Like these guys, no offense to them, their chases were not good. Their chases were not good. And their gen efficiency was not that good. You guys were at like 5 gens for like a very, very long time. Like this match, let's see, when does the first gen get popped? First gen gets popped almost 4 minutes into the game. Almost 4 minutes into the game, the first gen pops. 4 whole minutes. You're gonna call them sweaty? They didn't pop a gen for 4 minutes straight. Like, they didn't pop a gen for 4 minutes and they're like, so Sweaty Survivors. It's like they were, gens take 90 seconds for reference. And they're faster if you use certain perks, you team up on the gen. Somebody had Deja Vu, so their gen wasn't 90 seconds. Like, they didn't do a gen for 4 whole minutes, and you're gonna call them sweaty? Here's the deal. Let's get into it. Let's break down the takeaways. Let's get in the nitty gritty of it. Everything that happened here that made this match difficult was you. First thing, biggest thing, the thing that actually cost you the most in this match, and why all the gens got done anyway, even though their chases were really bad and they were very inefficient about doing the gens, is like you do not know how to counter flashlight saves, flashbang saves. Like for someone that has almost 1,000 hours in this game, you do not have any sort of fundamentals or infrastructure in your playstyle for countering or being prepared for flashlight or flashbang saves. It is not something you do. You don't look up the moment you pick. You don't bait to try and lure somebody out who's hovering nearby. You don't do any of the basic fundamentals to counterplay flashbangs. And when you have a group, especially right now where flashlights are temporarily disabled, you're going to see a lot more flashbangs. A lot more people bringing this over flashlight saves. So the fact that you don't look up when you pick up, so when they miss the timing, it doesn't work, which is what happened 2 out of the 3 saves this match. The only timing that was actually correct in this match was the one at the very end, the one inside the main building. The one they hit on you there, that was clean. There was, unless you baited that person, which is what you should have done, because you at that point you've been hit by 2. That timing was perfect. The other 2, the timing was off, and you tried to look left instead of up, which is not what you do. You should be looking up for every save. That you shouldn't have been hit with those flashbangs. After the first flashbang hits you, or when flashlights come back, after the first flashlight save hits you, you should be more paranoid and more aware after that point. You kept playing the game normally from that point on. You said, I understand that there are flashbangs, multiple flashbang gamers in this match, but I don't care. I'm just picking. I'm just picking. You were being stubborn. You said, oh, well, they're being sweaty, so screw them. I'm going to pick up anyway. And you kept getting saved over and over because you're being stubborn. If you had that second save, and especially that third save, gone to pick up and then waited a second, looked around, you would have seen them running up for the flashbang save. But you didn't do that. You didn't do that. You didn't try to call people out. You didn't try to, like, bait them into the save. You didn't do any of that. So you just kept getting hit over and over. So 1 chase turned into 2 chases 3 separate times in this match. Average chase in DBD, if you do it efficiently, is 30 seconds to 50 seconds. And then your chases were on a little bit of the longer side. So you were pushing a minute on some of your chases. So imagine you're taking more than a minute for a chase. Keep in mind, gens are only 90 seconds. So you're taking a minute in chase or more. And then you get flashbang saying you have to do another minute. 2 minutes. That's 2 minutes. That's 1 full gen and then 30 more seconds on another gen. That happened 3 times this game. That time is adding up big time. For something that was preventable, completely preventable. So I don't want to see you calling these survivors sweaty when you couldn't even be bothered to look up or bait for saves. This was completely counterable, and like, you need to take your accountability there. Second, don't bring perks you're not going to use or try to get value out of. I said at the beginning of this video that if you lose, it's not because of your build. And I still stand by that, because a good Legion that knows how to play to their perks, or play to the perks that you have brought, will get a lot of value out of this. This is a red bar build, as we like kind of facetiously call it. It's a red bar build. You're trying to make the gen progression of the survivors extremely slow. Make that red bar go. So that includes, splitting up hits to keep all 4 survivors injured, using your Scourge Hook. There are so many times this match where you down somebody within carry distance of a Scourge Hook and you opt for a vanilla hook instead for quite literally no reason besides just being, I guess, scared that you're not going to be able to make it. But it was literally right there. I don't know if you forgot you brought this perk, you were just scared you weren't going to make it, but you absolutely got 0 value out of this. Like I said, maybe I missed something. Maybe I looked down for a second, missed that you hooked somebody on a Scourge Hook at least once. But you were not getting consistent value out of this. This perk, you should have brought something else. And the other 2 perks by nature, Plaything and Pentimento, are temporary. Plaything only pops up when they're hooked. And then they can choose to cleanse it, which they were doing, so that goes away. Pentimento comes up when you decide to plant it after they break it. And then they cleanse it, and then it goes away. So half of your build was inconsistent by nature just because of the perks, and then the other half of your build was inconsistent because you weren't playing to your perks or outright choosing not to use them. So you need to find a build for you that you're actually going to get value out of while playing this character, because ignoring Scourge Hooks while you have a Scourge Hook perk doesn't make sense. If you're going to bring Thana and not try to enforce all 4 survivors to be injured, it doesn't make sense. Do not bring them. Yes, there is that aspect as well that some people were putting out in chat throughout the match, and now we're pointing out now, is that Plaything, when they're oblivious, don't get the killer instinct on them. So that, you know, that this is not a bad idea, but it's something you need to take into account into your playstyle, which you clearly did not. So I would choose a build with perks you're actually going to use and get value out of, instead of this, because you were not using your Scourge like this entire game, and that was not it. I think this third thing, and I don't think this is even like I think this is kind of tying into the Thana thing, and this is something that, like, I don't even know if it'll be its own takeaway, but something that just kind of noticed is, like, these survivors weren't really too split up. There were times they were, but a lot of the time they were grouped up. And there would be like a lot of times you would opt for just, like, you know, deep wounding somebody and then immediately going into chase, like ending your power. And when you have Thana, that's not really the playstyle you should be going for, really. You should be trying to enforce injuries on all 4 people and getting, like, the split injuries. But you were kind of like hitting people exiting power, hitting people exiting power, which is a thing you can do with that character. But, like, with the build that you brought, it doesn't really synergize. So yeah, like I said, I'm not mad. I don't hate you, but, like, I don't know. I don't like the attitude that they're calling them sweaty survivors when basically the only reason this game was as difficult as it was is because of things that were completely preventable on your end. So definitely work on those so this match won't be matches like these won't happen in the future, especially the flashlight flashbang thing. That is something that I would consider late. Like, you were late on, you were behind. If with almost 1k hours, you should know that by now. So you got it. Number one takeaway, that is the one you need to work on the most.